Hey guys, TYT Sports RotoWire Fantasy Football Draft Edition with expert Chris Liss from RotoWire.com. Ben Mankewicz, TYT Sports.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome. We are talking rankings. We're going over each one individually. Now we're at tight ends, which, as Ben said earlier, pretty short segment. Chris, take it away.
Well, there's three top guys, and obviously Jimmy Graham stands out. He's the guy people are taking in the first round. I think it's a bit of a difficult chore to build a team with your first pick being a tight end.
I did it last year, and it didn't work.
Even though Graham had a great year.
He had a great year, but of course,
he missed a couple games.
There were, the injuries toward a great 7 games or so, and then there was injuries, and then he had the thing that so many wide receivers had: is he going to play? Is he not? Worst case scenario, he'd run a couple of plays and then come off the field.
But if you really want Jimmy Graham,
and then he had a couple of games where he played, and they just couldn't throw to him because clearly he was hurt. He was playing hurt, and essentially served as a decoy. But he is in a tier by himself, is he not?
Kind of in a tier by himself because he's the healthy version with the track record. Now, Julius Thomas is not too far behind, especially with Decker gone, who was a big red zone hog, along with Demaryius Thomas. Now, Julius Thomas may get a lot of Decker's red zone targets. And then Gronk, he is back from the ACL.
Is he back?
I think from the ACL. We had Stefania Bell on our radio show, and she said that she's not worried about the ACL. He's a big guy. He's not a guy making quick cuts like a Jamal Charles who would need the full year, or even RG3 last year, who clearly wasn't himself 9 months from the ACL. He's not making those quick cuts. He boxes people out. She's worried that he's so physical and such a big target that he's going to take more hits with his style of play and maybe get hurt again, break his arm, hurt his back, or something else. But his ACL is not the concern. So going into week 1, supposedly he's healthy, and he has as much upside as Graham. Obviously when he's healthy, is a monster.
Then they are alone in a tier by themselves when he's healthy. That's
and Julius Thomas, though, is not that far behind. So we consider those a big 3. You're going to get Graham in the first, late second, early third is going to be where Julius Thomas and Gronk go. Just like quarterbacks, once those 3 are off the board, wait. Do not take Jordan Cameron in the 4th or 5th round because he's the next guy. Just forget it. Just punt.
You could effectively wait all the way till almost the end of your draft, right?
Yes.
I think that who's an interesting player for me, and it's because I've been a fan. I'm no longer a fan, but I still pay attention to them in Washington. I think Jordan Reed, who when healthy last year, had a 3 or 4 game run where he was playing at an elite level. It's not a big enough sample size to draw a full conclusion, but if Griffin is healthy and if he stays healthy, that strikes me as a guy who could put up numbers pretty similar to Julius Thomas.
They say in camp Jordan Reed looks like a Pro Bowl tight end. Just the way, just his skills, the way he moves, the way he runs routes, the way he catches passes. They think this guy is the real thing. But a lot of these tight ends are good athletes. So Zach Ertz now in this Chip Kelly offense. Year 2 is when tight ends break out. Almost never do rookie tight ends do anything. So the guys like Tyler Eifert, Zach Ertz, even Dwayne Allen, who's split in time with Kobe Fleener. It's his 3rd year, but he missed all of last year. Is kind of in his 2nd year. That's when receivers and tight ends break out. So if you want to go real cheap, take Eifert. Take somebody who's an elite drafted pedigree tight end who was solid last year but nothing special. That's when they take the leap.
It's just in this era we've moved in with tight ends. It's hard not to decide that I want that tight end, and I think Jordan Reed had that a little bit where you get numbers where, oh my God, I had a tight end who caught 7 balls for 136 yards and a touchdown.
Well, does that change if your flex could be a tight end?
Mostly it can be a tight end, and it does just make people go 2 tight ends. So I will say if I were picking first in a 14-team league and I got McCoy, say, hey, just to screw everybody, I might take Gronk and Julius Thomas on the turn if I could put one of them in the flex.
Sure.
Because they function like wide receivers with more touchdowns.
Also sort of a set it and forget it type, especially Julius Thomas and Gronk.